Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be taking a look at the new Kaijus as well as having kind of a short little discussion on Kaijus, and I got a sweet replay to share with you guys. But anyway, so here's the two new Kaijus that we know of. So we have, one of them is called Star something, one of them it looks like a moth. Again, these names are in Italian, so we don't know the exact translation, but nonetheless, we know their effects and we got their attack and defense. That's kind of important. And then we got a really crazy support card. They get Kaiju Dark Hole. It's crazy good. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out their effects, courtesy of the organization. So anyways, so here are the new Kaiju cards. So here is the first one. This one, well, it's actually this one first. This one, it kind of looks like Morph. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Godzilla, but that's what these all are. They're essentially giant monsters, and I want to say most of these are inspired by Godzilla. Anyways, so let's go and check out the Moth's effects. So the Moth has 2700 attack and 1600 defense. If you guys didn't know what the Kaiju effects are, I'm going to briefly go over this effect once and then we'll talk about it. But you can special summon this card by attributing one of your opponent's monsters, and that's how you get most of the Kaijus out. Unless there's specific condition ones that come out later in the game, that's what you do to get them out. Anyways, if your opponent controls a Kaiju monsters, or a Kaiju monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. You can only control one Kaiju monster. That affects the, again, this effect right here is pretty much on every Kaiju. Unless, again, if they come out with new ones in the future, then that obviously changes things. But anyways, during either player's turn, you get to remove 3 counters, Kaiju counters, from anywhere on the field to half the attack and defense of all of the monsters currently on the field. Unfortunately, it says, well, it's anywhere on the field, so that includes yourself. I don't really like that. Like, if it maybe was like half everything else, but then that can be too strong. I don't know. It lets you get over certain things that maybe you couldn't get over already, but then like this card's half and you can only control one Kaiju. I don't know about this card's like effect. It can, like I said, it can be good. Maybe if you have like a follow-up play with like a pendulum, you summon a bunch of monsters after you have everything they have. But more than likely, it's going to be kind of difficult, especially if they have multiple monsters to OTK. Anyways, next up we got the Star Destroyer. That's a level 10 with 3300 attack. And again, we won't cover this effect. This effect is on all the Kaijus. So its effect is during either player's turn when a card or effect that targets exactly one card and no other card is activated, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field to negate that effect, and if you do, you destroy one card in the field. So that is really good. Not only are you negating your opponent's stuff, but then you can just get rid of another card. Wow, that's freaking awesome, man. Again, you can only control one Kaiju, so they're not really oriented around OTKing, but I got a really sweet replay that I really want to share with you guys real quick after this. But anyways, the next one up is called Interrupted Kaiju Dream. Again, the name might be different because it's in Italian, but anyway, so it's a spell card that says you get to destroy as many monsters on the field as possible. Then special summon 2 Kaiju monsters with different names in attack position from your deck, one to each side of the field, but they cannot change their battle position and they must attack, if able. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Kaiju monster from your deck to your hand, and only activate 1 of them per turn. That is really crazy. That's this card over here. So, in the Moth, you can remove 3 counters to half everything on the field. And then the Star card over here lets you negate something that targets exactly 1 card, and then you're able to destroy a card. And that's a pretty decent little effect there, but I really feel like this one takes the icing on the cake. This really makes me feel like Kaijus are so much better, especially because they work so well with Gradles, and this can actually proc some of the Gradle effects, and I thought that was kind of cool. So anyways, let me go and actually share this replay with some of you guys real quick. I think this is just an excellent replay over here. So this is versus Pepe, which is like the deck that everyone is going to be trying to fight against. Let me get rid of this so you guys can see the life points. Not that it's really relevant. Pretty interesting to see someone try gadgets in the Performapal, Performage, Draco Slayer. I don't know what you guys want to call it. It's just called the Pendulum deck is what I'm going to be calling it. But nonetheless, pretty insane feel both players pull off. And it starts off a little slow. I don't know why he just started destroying stuff. Lizard Draw, man. Gotta get those free cards in the graveyard. But nonetheless, the Gradle player, the Kaiju Gradle. Because I think one problem that Kaijus have when you're just playing them on their own is that your opponent needs to have stuff. Otherwise, you can't do anything. It kind of reminds me of like Psyframes, you know? But pretty cool stuff. This guy, he always busts out the Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. But nonetheless, this Performapal, Performage, Draco Slayer player. Oh, almost died. Anyways, so he's going to go ahead and go off for his Pendulum play. And you can see like just how advantageous this deck can be. So he's able to make Ignister, obviously pretty good card. Pop that card, get rid of the Kaiju, and then he's obviously able to go for another card, which I didn't really see coming after he changed the, like he swapped something with the Mirror Conductor, and then he was able to destroy something and then draw a card. And then look at his field. His field is still pretty good because he has maybe the option to use this, but unfortunately, Great Slime coming out there kind of cause some problems. Going to go ahead and steal a card. He's going to be able to steal Ignister. Ignister can pop both essentially with that, and that's going to be game. I just thought that was a really interesting replay. There was another replay that I really want to share off real quick. There are not too many Kaiju replays that get sent into me just because the deck honestly isn't like the highest of tiers because it has a lot of consistency problems when you don't open up with a Waterfront. If you guys have played the deck, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if you just don't open up Waterfront, sometimes you just like, you get a Kaiju, I get a Kaiju, try to attack over something, oh, it didn't work, dang. I'm in a bad spot now. Like, there's a lot of problems with the deck. Like I said, if you open up Waterfront though, the deck becomes like 1,000 times better. And if they just had like one card that just searched out a Kaiju card, but this is kind of a cool duel because he actually busts out one of my favorite like cards you can bust out with Miracle Synchro Fusion, which is Supreme Arcanite Magician. I love this guy. He's awesome. You'll see what this guy's going to do to Arcanite Magician. So he activates Terraform and goes ahead and search off the Waterfront. Like, this card is just so key in the deck. Cobra going to be summoned. Cobra was going to try to get rid of this and then steal it, and obviously that would have been pretty advantageous for him. But he had the Regeki, so he had his follow-up play. And then he goes ahead and activates Trade-In, Terraform. Like you need to run it because like this card, like I said, it's so required in the deck because look at this guy. He's got 10 counters on Magical Citadel, but it doesn't matter at this point. He's basically exhausted his hand. He can't really do anything. I mean, he could have thrown that down. Maybe destroyed, attempted to destroy a Spawn Trap card, but he's able to make Great All Dragon. Great All Dragon's going to go ahead, and I believe he tries to destroy it, but this removes a counter instead of being destroyed. I believe this card has the exact effect too. Like, which one's the better field spell? Kind of cool that you can have both field spells in this game now, but he goes ahead and busts out the full armor dragon. I guess this guy loves this card. It's kind of a funny card, but I guess it worked out in the right situation. But anyways, yeah, I'm really excited to see what they come out with Kaijus because I like their playstyle is pretty interesting. It's like, I'm going to also give you a strong monster so you don't feel as bad. Only I'm going to search out another monster that's probably better than the one I just gave you, which is like, it's just such a slap in the face when they're like, tribute your Cyber Dragon Infinity, you get this. And you're just like, oh my gosh, man. It's so good. And like I said, it's a really interesting deck because it kind of counters some of the things that have been going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is like, I make this very special card, deal with it, and the Kaijus are like, dude, I don't care. And like with the addition of Great Alls, I think it makes the deck much better. I've seen Kaiju Yosenjus as well, and I just feel like that deck doesn't do as well because you're so open to things, to getting OTK. With Great Alls, at least you have them, you can throw them in defense mode, then you can take things. I think that's the right way to approach the deck right now. Unless Kaijus get some other crazy support in the future. I don't think they're a standalone deck, but that new like Regeki looking card, that card is pretty awesome. Oh, also in addition to this, I have the full spoiler list. Shoutouts to the guy that sent it to me. Well, I would give you a shout out if you wanted it, but I don't think you wanted it because I don't want you to get in trouble. Because some of the information, as you guys know, it's kind of leaked. But anyways, I'll try to add this to the description box below, but YouTube only allows you to add so much to the description box. I was afraid it didn't fit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down, and you guys can try to check it out. And like I said, I'll try to add as many as I can to the description box, but because there is a limitation of how many characters you can add, yeah. Anyways, so the important cards I'll try to go over real quick. I'm kind of going to go through these fast because there's so many. Again, I'll try to add to the description box. If not, I guess you can just print screen or you can kind of just briefly look at them with me. I'm just going to go through the ones that I think are important. These two are really important. And before I end up skipping something that's like really important, there's new support for Super Heavyweight Samurais. There's new Melodius Diva cards. There's some of the Dynamist stuff. I feel like there is going to be more support for. I know actually I know there's more support for that, but the support isn't gonna make the deck super crazy. Ariadne, that's a pretty important card. The Toon Buster Blade, I think that's a fan favorite card. I don't think it's gonna be super strong. There is yeah, Goyo Defender. Actually, guys, I have another video. I know there's like so much information of Yu-Gi-Oh coming out in this last like couple days, but yeah, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh world. Right before something crazy comes out, like information for days. But Goyo Defender, there's actually a really crazy way to make Quasar that can attack 3 times with this. I'll link it down below. Hopefully, I can put everything in the description box. If not, yeah, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to look at this, I guess, real quick with me. But what else is really? Oh, the wizards in here. The I think it's. We skipped that. That's like one of the most important ones. It's oh, what do they call that card? It's something wizard. But that card's really important. Like I said, Ariadne is really important in this set. Solemn Notice is also pretty important. But yeah, like I said, I just want to show you guys the full list because if you go to the wiki, it's missing like more than half the cards. And yeah, obviously this is like kind of fresh information, fresh off the boat, man. I actually like that show a lot. I don't know if any of you guys watched it, but when it says something, that means we don't know the name of the. We have all the kaiju cards, but we just don't know what the name is going to be. It's something of the kaiju, something blank kaiju, whatever. The Fiendish Rhino, that's a pretty hot card. This card's gonna be pretty hot, but I think it's more of like hype. This card's pretty good. But yeah, that's the spoiler list for this. There was like 4 cards that were missing, but I got them from someone else. Someone else sent me their list. Like, basically, I combined 2 people's. Like, here's a spoiler list. And I'm like, all right, thanks, man. But the main guy that got most of them has sent me in before, so I trust his sources. Like I said, shout out to you. You know who you are, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. But yeah, I just don't want the guy to get in trouble. And it's his like actual name. It's not like he doesn't have an alias, man. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. But yeah, let me know, guys, what you think of kaijus. I want to know how would you guys mix them then, if not Great Dolls? Because I feel like Great Dolls are like the perfect mix because you gotta take your opponent's stuff like all day, and you're tributing your opponent's stuff all day. But the only downside is literally, if you can just open up with 1 Waterfront, I feel like the deck does fantastic. You open up with Waterfront, maybe 1 Great Doll, and like, you know, maybe like a hand trap, you're good to go. The deck can do very, very well. But nonetheless, I thought these were 2 cool replays. Thank you. Was it Dogmaster 312 for sending this in? I believe it is, because you're the one. Well, there's 2 replays technically. It was this one was really cool. Yeah, Dogmaster, thanks, man. I appreciate sweet replays. But this one was really cool too. Like, you made an intense field, and then he got over it, and then you got over it again. This card is just, I feel like this card is like the bane of like most cards that get the card where like, you can't target. It's like, oh man, don't target. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Been your boy Will Smith, signing out.